Now, firstly, we have start doing the questionnaire for the bab nikah. Probably, we will do exam not next week, but the week after next week, because next week then we will distribute the questionnaire together the questions, and then the next week we will have exams on it. For those who wants to have exam, for those who doesn't want to have exam, then don't have exam. Those who wants to have exam, then have exam. Simple as that. But it's good, because there are other things which is the questionnaire that we have prepared. It is things got to do with what we learn, and also further explanation of what we have learned. But at the same time, my questions will not be confusing. It's a straightforward question. Why we should confuse people? Divorce. Nas'alullah as-salama wal afiyah. There's a lot of hikmah why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made divorce permissible. Why Allah has made divorce permissible. And in Christianity, divorce is not permissible. The real Christians, the Orthodox Christians. You'll find many kind of Christians. They are Catholics, they are this, they are that, whatever it is. But many of them do not abide the true teaching of Christianity. And the real Christians, they are not allowed to divorce. In Islam, they are allowed to divorce. This is something which is halal, but most hated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a big hikmah why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed divorce to happen. At the same time, divorce shouldn't be our choice. Divorce should only be done if you really cannot establish Sharia in your household. If this marriage is going to cause the destruction of akhlaq, then divorce. If this marriage going to cause destruction of people's life, then divorce should happen. It should only be as a last choice. An example, I have a friend. The person said that they always have problems in their household, and children didn't have a good upbringing until the parents divorced. Then the children were happy and calm. So that's a good reason why divorce is allowed in Islam. And this is something which is very serious. This is not a simple thing, especially for men, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them the authority to divorce. It's just a word. The same goes for nikah. It's just a word, but it makes something haram to halal, and it makes something halal to haram. The same goes to divorce. The same goes for divorce. So we should be very, very careful in this matter. And you shouldn't divorce when you are in a state of emotional, or when you are angry. But the reality is that 99% of the divorce happen when people are angry. When the reality is, you should not. When the correct way to do divorce is that you shouldn't be doing when you are angry. You should be doing after you have pondered the situation properly. And you have decided that now is the time to divorce. Many people, they have divorce, not only divorce, they even do 3 divorce. They come back to us and say, "Ya Ustaz, how can we do now? What should we do? I have done these 3 divorce. Is it like this?" Now only you want to regret. At the same time, if there's divorce, if divorce need to happen, then do 1 divorce is enough. Why you want to do 3? Why should you? Allah SWT has given you 3, so that you might, after separation, an example, then both of you might think that you want to come back and have more patience with each other and try to change the kind of lifestyle. Or maybe an example, one person is religious, then another person, maybe an example, both of them not religious. And then suddenly one person becomes religious. Another one that don't want to become religious. Right? And then after divorce happened. After divorce happened, this person found out that he or she actually loved the spouse. And then wants to carry on. Okay, now I will improve to become better. Then become better. Then now you see, mashallah, since we have been together before, I want to be together with you again. Tamam. So let's get back together. If you're gonna do all the 3 divorce at once, then what's left? Nothing left until the wife going to get married to someone with all the conditions mentioned before. Have we done that? Have you mentioned those things? Tamam. With a proper nikah, with a proper relationship, with a divorce. If the person is going to divorce her in the end. Tamam. So these are all the things that we should take into consideration before doing it. But we like it or not, we have to learn about this. Because why? Because we have to know when divorce has happened and the options, the kind of divorce that can be done, according to the best situation that you might want to consider. طيب. رَبِّ اغْفِرْ لِي وَتُبْ عَلَيَّ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ. At the same time, a lady shouldn't be asking divorce from the husband except for valid reason in Sharia. Except for valid reason in Sharia. He does not provide her. He does whatever he does, whatever thing. Don't tell me, oh, we fight, we have quarrels, we want to divorce. There's always differences. We are different. Of course you are different. You're male, she's female. Tamam. You come up from another family, you come from another family. Of course there's differences. But have to try your best to continue the marriage. Tamam. One of another hikmah of this divorce is that not to enslave woman. A person is not enslaved and compelled to live with this person for the rest of her life or his life. An example, if a male couldn't divorce this wife, alas, I'm enslaved to be with this woman. Or the wife, an example, the husband is very bad. Then you're not enslaved, but because people are free, so divorce are allowed. Divorce is allowed. رَبِّ اغْفِرْ لِي وَتُبْ عَلَيَّ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ. الطلاق نسأل الله السلامة والعافية. Definition of divorce. Divorce, at-talaq, linguistically means the release of bond. Hallul qaid. Tamam. The release of bond. Jurisprudentially, it means letting go of a marriage contract with the verbalization of divorce, at-talaq, or similar to it. Or similar to it. Now, kinayatut talaq and sara'ih at-talaq. There are, when we mention about divorce, we have to understand that there are 2 kinds of talaq can be done. And you have to be careful, men. When you do divorce, you have to know whether this is considered divorce or not. At times, people, when they do divorce, the wife also have to know. Because why? Because this is to protect what is halal and what is haram. Sometimes she is being divorced, and then the husband say, no, I don't divorce you. It wasn't true, I was just saying out of anger. And then if the wife don't know the hukum shara', she doesn't know what religion says, she's okay. MashaAllah. I follow my husband. Whatever he tells me, I obey. MashaAllah, it's good to be obedient to husband, but not when come to things which is haram. When come to things in which is haram, la ta'at al-makhluq fi ma'siyat al-khaliq. There is no obedience in creation in disobedience of God. Tamam. Types of divorce. Tamam. divorce is divided in two categories. Divorce with compensation, which is called khulu', and number two is divorce without compensation. Number one is divorce with compensation. This is a kind of divorce which is preferable between husband and wife if both of them think that they should not continue with each other anymore. Or if the husband think that this woman don't want me, and she cannot establish a proper household, then you should divorce. And when both of you think that you cannot continue, yes, this is the best way to do divorce, to do khulu'. While you should do this in a proper state of mind, because why? There's consequences of khulu'. There is no ruju' in khulu', which means if you want to come back to the wife, you have to do a new An-Nikah, new marriage contract, except that you don't have to wait for her iddah to finish before you want to do the next marriage contract. But for me, it is a preferable method because some of the Shafi'i scholars don't consider this as a divorce, which means divorce happened, but it's not it doesn't take one of the three. Most Shafi'i scholars says that yes, it is taken one out of three. Okay, but this is to safeguard yourself. An example: there's 3 divorces happen, and then to come back to the husband, at least we have some way out. Otherwise, there is no way out. If you have used all the 3 divorces. Now, divorce without compensation. Divorce without compensation, you have 3 chances, and if you have utilized all the 3, then you cannot do ruju' to the wife. If you have not utilized the 3, then you can do ruju' to the wife, and the ruju' is the right of the who? Ruju' is the right of the who? Ruju' is the right of the husband. Even though the wife doesn't want ruju', the wife cannot reject ruju'. So there are ways to do it. It's a serious thing, marriage. When you go into a marriage, it's a serious thing. It's not a game, it's not a choice where you can just simply say, oh, we cannot get along, let's separate. It's not that simple. It is something which is very serious. You have to know that these are words that you use in the name of Allah to make something which is halal to haram and something which is haram to halal. Marriage and divorce. Normally, yes, people take some time to consider marriage. But divorce, many people do it in a rush. Divorce with compensation, al-khulu'. Tamam. Meaning of khulu', linguistically and jurisprudentially. Linguistically, al-khulu' means strip off or take out or to remove. Tamam. Is derived from the word al-khulu', where kha, these are all the Arabic stories, where the kha takes an accusative case. Jurisprudentially, khulu' means a separation with a beneficial compensation, where the compensation is dependent on the request of the husband. Now there are 3 parts of definition here. Can you give me pen? Strip off, take out, to remove, or to remove. Taib. Khulu' means a separation with a beneficial compensation. Taib. Number 1, khulu' means separation, which means divorce happens when you do khulu', separate between the husband and wife, with a beneficial compensation, with some kind of compensation which gives benefit. Okay. Now this is one we have to learn in mu'amala. They are kind of exchange which is not beneficial. An example, Those days our scholars used to say there are two things. There are, number one, people might want it, people might be able to use it, but in a wrong way. An example, khamr. Tamam, wine. Something which people wants it, but they use it in a wrong way. Wine. Tamam. That is why we don't say beneficial. It's just a form of compensation, but it's non-beneficial if you use khamr. Tamam. Or sometimes you can use something which is not beneficial, it's just useless. Like what? They give the example like blood. Those days, they used to give the example of blood. And nowadays, blood is something else. We can use blood. But nowadays, the scholars, they will say animal's blood. What can you do with animal's blood? Is there any benefit? Is there anything to use with animal blood? Huh? What can you do with animal blood? Don't mention about non-halal things. They will mix blood with meat to make it delicious. Wallahu alam how they do it. Tamam. What can you do with animal's blood? What benefit can you derive from animal's blood? Other than turning them into, probably, into compost. You know what's compost? Huh? Those who know compost. Compost. Must learn how to do farming. Then you know what's compost. Compost is a mixture of manure, dried leaves, sometimes even green leaves, rotten fruits. All these things are called compost. It's a form of fertilizer for the plants. It's the best form of fertilizer for the plants. Sometimes they use blood, if I'm not wrong. If I'm not wrong. If I'm wrong, then sorry. But it is. That's why we call it beneficial compensation. And compensation, yes, we will learn about what are the kinds of compensation that we can use in al-khulu. Tamam. And the kind of compensation is dependent on the request of the husband. If the husband said, if you give me $1 million, then I'll give you divorce. Tamam. And she said that, and she gives immediately, this is the $1 million. Or if an example, he said, if you give me back the dowry, then you are divorced. Fadal, this is dowry. Then immediately she is divorced. And then she will not be, there's no rujun. Which means she is very aware that now if I'm out of this marriage, tamam, he will not be able to get me back, and I'll be free after my iddah finishes. Okay? What else I wanted to say? If it is not depending on the request of the husband say that if you give me back the dowry, then you are divorced. Then she gives back half of the dowry. This is half of the dowry. Then another half will be completed. No, it's not considered. Tamam. It will not be valid. Is there anyone who has charger? Charge phone. Who has charger? Charge phone for app. Use it. طيب. Let's go more on the khulu. Pillars of divorce with compensation, which is known as al-khulu. Pillars of divorce with compensation. Pillars of khulu. There are 5 pillars of divorce with compensation. Number 1, the husband. Okay. Number 2, bud'un, refers to the wife. In proper Arabic, there's no such thing as az-zawjah. In proper Arabic, there is no such thing as az-zawjah. Tamam. Wife. You don't say, in proper Arabic, there is no such thing as az-zawjah, wife. The proper Arabic, they will use zawj from both sides. For husband, they will use zawj. For the wives, they will also use az-zawj. Tamam. But in this matter, they use bud'un. Tamam. Which refers to her rahim. طيب. And why they don't use zawj? Why didn't they use zawj? Anyone who can answer why they didn't use zawj? Look. And why they didn't use zawj? Why, Zaki?
Differentiate the first pillar.
Because the husband is already zawj. Now if you're going to mention a zawj, second pillar, zawj. So they use bud'un to differentiate between the two, the husband and the wife. But in general, when you mention zawj, it refers to husband. But if you're speaking to a man and then you tell him aina zawjuka, it refers to the wife. Where's your wife? It's more like a spouse. But otherwise, if you speak generally, zawj refers to men. But if you speak to a man, where's your zawj, refers to where's your wife. If you speak to a lady, where's your zawj, it refers to the husband. Now you know why they don't use az-zawjah. Az-zawjah is not a fluent Arabic language, even though it's being used widely, but it's not from the original Arabic language. And that's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran. What is the verse? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions zawj, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to the wife. In the Quran. طيب. And there's no zawjah in the Quran. The whole Quran there is no zawjah. Number 3, compensator. Who is the compensator? Either the wife, or her guardians, or others. The one who will compensate the money. Sometimes it can be in the form of money. Sometimes it can be in the form of effort. An example: the husband tells her, if you work for my company for 1 month, then I will divorce you. Then you will get the divorce. Without money. There's no money involved. But that's why we say beneficial compensation. Sometimes it can be in the form of wealth. Sometimes it can be in the form of work. And then compensation. That's what we discussed earlier. And then verbalization of the compensation agreement. The verbalization of the compensation agreement. طيب. Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, when he got married to, who did he get married to in the first place? Who was his wife? Nabi Shu'aib's daughter. And what was the dowry? What was the mahar? Or dowry? Or whatever name. Hadiyah or what? What was the dowry? What was the dowry of Nabi Musa? Who knows? What was the dowry? We were with the uncle. Who is his uncle? Whose uncle? For how long work? The dowry, Nabi Shu'aib, he married Nabi Musa to his daughter. Okay? And he married Nabi Musa to his daughter, and the dowry was to work with Nabi Shu'aib himself for 8 years. Tamam. And if you want, you can complete another 2 years, 10 years. Tamam. At the same time, mashallah, very wise the way Nabi Shu'aib marries his daughter off to Nabi Musa. And the wife was the one who asked for him. Tamam. So there's no harm for a lady to come to a man and ask for a man's hand. It happened in many cases of the Salihin. And also Prophet Rasulullah SAW, how did he get married? How did he got married? Who is the one who approached him? Khadijah radiyallahu anha. Nabi Shu'aib, how did he marry his daughter to Nabi Musa? Because the daughter of Nabi Shu'aib told Nabi Shu'aib, smart, huh? She was smart. She told Nabi Shu'aib, employ this man. Verily he is strong and he is trustworthy. He was strong. Nabi Musa, of course, he was strong, mashallah. He can even slap the angels. You know the story of how Nabi Musa slapped the angels? When Israel came to him to take his life. And then Nabi Musa was caught by shock by the Israel and he slapped. Pam! And the angel's eyes came out. One of his eyes came out. His eye came out. And then is it charging? Charging. MashaAllah, thank you very much. And then Israel went back to Allah to complain. Ya Allah, you sent me to carry out my duty, he slapped me. And then Allah SWT advised Israel to come to Nabi Musa with salam. Give salam to him, ask him if he would want to come back to me or if he wants to continue his life. And the choice was what? To go back to Allah. Prophets, if they are given a choice to live in this dunya, to go back to Allah, they want to go back to Allah. Same goes to Rasulullah SAW. He was given a choice, either to continue living in this dunya or to go back to Allah. He said, Bal ar-rafiqul a'la, Bal ar-rafiqul a'la. He wants to go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then he was supposed to work with Nabi Shu'aib for 8 years, just to complete his dowry. Tamam, mashallah. This is the kind of dowry to marry a prophet's daughter. Inshallah. Expensive, huh? It's not expensive, but it takes a lot. But mashallah, why not? If you can get a salihah wife, why not? Daughter of a prophet. What else would you want to ask more for? Daughter of the prophet. For sure she's a salihah. Tamam. And then we can see that they have a salihin descendant and they have the descendants of prophets at the same time, Nabi Musa. So which means that it shows that he's indeed, his wife is a salihah. Otherwise they cannot get prophets after them. Tamam. So it's not a shame for a woman to ask a man's hand. And it is also, it's okay if either man to ask for a woman's hand or woman to ask man's hand. Doesn't matter. The most important is you find the right spouse. Even Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu anhu, he went around to look for the suitable spouse for his daughter. He went to Uthman, and then he went to Abu Bakr Siddiq, and then he went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was angry with Abu Bakr. Why? I speak to Abu Bakr about my daughter. Why he didn't give me any answer? He was angry. Abu Bakr was interested in his daughter if it was not mentioned by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Bakr kept quiet. But Abu Bakr said that since I have heard that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam have spoken about Hafsa before, so out of adab I didn't want to say anything until I hear a clear answer from Rasulullah, then only I would go forward. But now, mashallah, since Rasulullah has mentioned about Hafsa before, I will not say anything. Then Rasulullah married to Hafsa. Rabbighfirli wa tub alayya innaka antat tawwabur rahim. And then throughout the 10 years, the 8 to 10 years, indeed he completed the 10 years. And the 2 years the extra was not a requirement, was not part of the dowry, but it was an act of charity, or it was an act of kindness by Nabi Musa alayhi salam. And Nabi Musa learned a lot from Nabi Shu'aib. When Nabi Musa he ran from Egypt, he went to Madian. Where's Madian? Where's Madian now? Is it in Jordan? It's in the Sham area, that's for sure. Tamam. One of the countries now. So he went there, he got married to Nabi Shu'aib's daughter, and then mashallah he learned a lot from Nabi Shu'aib. Tamam. Because why? Because he's a prophet, but at the same time he wants to learn from he can learn from a senior prophet. Tamam. On the things on how to do da'wah, how to live as a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what was his job? What was his job? Shepherd for 10 years. Tamam. Nabi Musa was a shepherd for 10 years. Berfirman wa ta'ala ya innaka antat tawwabur rahim. We will continue this next week inshallah.